total car guy, yes. Although partly now because I've been doing it since I was 13 when I first got interested. Some of the interest has sort of waned or changed direction. I'm not a real guy that likes to go to the races, but I'm ever so passionate about the business and the people. I love the stories. I just love the outrageousness of it all. And it could be a Lamborghini, it could be a dragster, a funny car. I don't care. I kind of like it all. But it's the people and the stories that drive me. That's the bit I like.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love that part. Because with the people, they're just, it's just an inanimate object. When you meet Herm Peterson, the guy that built and raced this car, he's survived death twice. He's been legally dead twice. And he's very disfigured from a fire. And yet he's the nicest, coolest man you'd ever want to meet, and just unbelievably giving.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about this car. What matters is Herm Peterson.
Definitely.
And that's why we named the boardroom after Herm, because he's just a cool man.
You may have already answered this, but what part of drag racing appeals to you?
Oh boy, I think originally it was just the outrageousness of it all. You're growing up in that 50s England austerity. I think we still had petrol rationing.
I'm driving the Woolsey.
You're driving the Woolsey? Oh my God. And this was just so different, and back then everything was new. We were exploring new music, new cultures, new colors, and this fitted right in. It was very dynamic, it was loud, it was bright, and of course the English tried to put their own spin on drag racing, and it didn't really work. It has to be American drag racing. And I just got hooked on it, and it's very hard to explain, but what's so sort of central about the shape of these things, and the sound especially, I mean, you hear a four-cylinder English engine running, it's like, okay, that sounds like a lawnmower engine or something, but you hear one of these, Hemi engines run, I mean, man, it just gets to your heart, and you can't explain that very easily or get over it. And even now, every time we fire one of these cars up, man, I'm right there, and the noise is...
The smell.
Oh, it's just everything. Everything about it is just a sensual experience. It was SoCal's 60th anniversary, and Wally Parks was a good friend of mine.
Wow.
And we talked about putting an exhibit in the NHRA Museum to honor the history of SoCal. And we did the exhibit, and the director had left the museum, and they said, hey, would you want to have a go at this? I go, I've never done a museum before, I don't know what to do. And they said, it'll be fine, don't worry. And I did it for 6 years. I did it for 6 years. And it wasn't easy, it was a tough job.
Yeah. Learning curve was pretty steep.
It was a steep learning curve, yeah. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of contracts, a lot more of that kind of the business than I was used to.
More driving the boat.
It was definitely driving the boat, yes, it was definitely driving the boat. And they put on a couple of nostalgia events. They do one in Bakersfield, California Hot Rod Reunion.
They have the Cackle Fest there?
They have a Cackle Fest there with 80 or 90 cars. And that was my first introduction. We were in Bowling Green, and I had not been to a Cackle Fest before. And one of our crew, Alan Miller, his defibrillator was affected by the ignition on one of the cars. So he goes bang on the floor.
Whoa!
So I'm trying to get an ambulance in to get Alan off to hospital, because we don't know what caused that, And then another guy was in pure heaven, fuel altered, and it jumped into reverse and jammed a guy against the wall. So now we need another ambulance, and the track ambulance is gone. It's taken Alan. Now we need another ambulance. And then the Cackle Fest ended, and all of the crowd comes out of the stands, out of the bleachers, to look at the cars. And I'm going, stop, stop, stop. And they're all going, no, we're not stopping for you, little English guy. We're coming to look at the cars. Of course, we need an ambulance in there. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I signed on for? This is just going to be ridiculously dangerous. The world of speed is a hub for things exciting in motorsports. So we have a little bit of everything from NASCARs like Richard Petty's car here, Bonneville cars, open wheelers, muscle cars, land speed cars, motorcycles. So it's a snapshot of the whole industry, and it will constantly revolve. So what you come and see one week will not be the same the next week. I mean, some cars will have to stay and move around, but we're going to try and rotate.
Cornerstone.
Yeah, we're going to have some cornerstone cars, but we're going to try and rotate as many cars as much as possible so that there's a reason to come back. It's going to be a very hands-on, interactive place with our simulators, which we have 3. We have a NASCAR simulator, an IndyCar simulator, and an original 1962 Lotus Formula One car simulator. And those will be, and that's intense stuff. I mean, it's as close as you can get. We had Parker Johnston over here recently and Dominic Dobson, both IndyCar racers, and they both said this is as close as you can get I've ever got in a car that isn't actually moving anywhere. It's good stuff, and you can drop down and do different tracks and
so now,
different things.
You guys are striving to have interactive exhibits.
A lot of interactive exhibits, yeah.
And so you told me about some of that. What are some of the other interactive exhibits?
We have a fuel pump. One of the best displays is a drag racing fuel pump from Sid Waterman that pumps, I think it's 12 gallons a second, something like that. So it's a clear cylinder.
Oh, the top fuel pump.
Have a top fuel pump.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
You can't pour water out of a bucket that fast.
No, you can't. And it just pumps like crazy. And I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of fuel, but it's very, very cool. And then we're also building interactive supercharger display, turbocharger display, quick change rear end to show how a quick change rear end works. The kids zone will be interactive. Ford kindly donated a Mustang. We took the doors off so the kids can climb in it. They can watch a video about the history of Mustang. Play with the steering wheel, play with the shifter, and kind of, get used to being in a vehicle.